So, what actually could be a really nice segue here around this idea of zooming out and really looking at and understanding the people and the humans that you're designing for.
Hmm.
And one of the things that I hear is that sharing insights is let's say one of the things that's challenging is bringing companies and teams along with like building this like shared understanding of who their customers are. Maybe if we use that mortgage
Hmm.
application experience, like, how do we actually humanize that person that's going through this journey of purchasing a home or mortgaging a home? And then also thinking about like, the role that storytelling has in all of this storytelling of who your customers are. And so we actually asked product leaders, designers, and marketers about some of the challenges that they have related to this idea of building this shared understanding of who your customer is. So I'd love to watch this with you, and then we can hash it out.
Please rate my level of agreement with the following statement. I'm satisfied with how customer insights I learn are shared and understood throughout the organization. I mean, this is like the eternal problem, like with any kind of UX research sharing, right? Like it goes in a deck somewhere, or it goes in some research repository and then it gets ignored, or it's in some centralized hub other people don't know about.
The challenge is getting them to care, which is a very human thing. I try to make it interesting. I try to make it concise, and I try to make it relatable. So it's about having those insights, and just making them interesting so people actually care about what you're saying.
Do you think storytelling can help share data and other customer insights so that others in your organization understand those insights? Definitely, I believe storytelling is the only way right now.
Because at the minute it's just a lot of numbers and it's not that interesting to look at. So something that would help me put that into sort of a story almost as to what our customers are going through with our company would be good.
Yeah, using storytelling can make insights come to life in a way that just like giving some top level bullet points about like customers find X difficult and X easy. If you can actually tell a story about a customer experiencing that, or like provide a compelling narrative that like is more easily shareable or easier to process and remember, then it could be a lot more engaging. So yes.
I think by creating a persona, right, like making it someone that they feel like they can relate to, that connects to the organization, kind of brings out that emotional side of research, right? And so it allows people to connect a little more deeply because they can kind of see this, like the side of the customer, put themselves in those shoes and see like a real example of kind of how that's playing out, and that tends to help actually.
Yeah, I think storytelling is a great way. I think it gives, everyone likes a bit of a story. If you're out with your friends and stuff and they're telling you a story, people listen, and that's what you want, people to pay attention as well.
I love how the compilation went from like you could literally see the pain or hear it, the sigh that
Yeah.
gentleman made after his comment, but then also kind of the shift to sort of like, oh well, when it works really well, these are the things we see, right? And a lot of that to me sounded like that storytelling and the ability to sort of like latch on to something tangible versus just looking at a bunch of data, I guess. But yeah, curious what you think.
Well, they gave a lot of good advice. I would say storytelling and uh, you know uh, helping people, like I said, understand the texture more of the human experience versus the data. The analogy I sometimes use for this is there's the from philosophy, the old like the story about the cave and how I think it's from Plato, and people are sitting in there. They think they're seeing humanity, but it's really the shadow of the fire against people, and they're just seeing the shadow on the wall. It's not reality; it's a shadow of it. I think that what data often is. It's a shadow. It's not actually reality. And so when we have all this quantitative data, which is very valuable, it doesn't really help you see what is really happening and also connect with it as a person. And so, to be human is to, going back to my literature comment earlier, I mean, we're storytellers and we're story listeners, and story is just what makes people, I think. And so this pairing of, if you only come with the story, and then you can't give people a sense of, well, how much is the story playing out around us, or how important is this story, or what's the impact of the story, then that might not get you all the way there. But then if you only have the hard, cold facts, then you might not be able to get people to really lean in and want to do something about it or really understand it. And so this combination of telling a good story, but backing it up and connecting it to things that are more either quantitative or more, measurable, I think that combo is so powerful. But when you remove one of those two ingredients, I think that you're ultimately, partly flying blind. And so the storytelling advice, I think, is spot on.